Tonight, we start off by taking a look at Auburn University's COVID numbers, as well as a deeper look into what Auburn Student Government Association is cooking up right now. We'll then inform you on an upcoming drive you won't want to miss and the coolest new exhibit coming to Auburn University's libraries. We'll also take a look nationally by updating you on the situation in Ukraine, as well as what California is doing to combat its serious drought. Finally, St. Patrick's Day last week was another holiday for the books. Find out how one lucky lady celebrates this holiday every year. All of that and more is coming up on Eagle Eye's Monday News at 6.
Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Lily Grace Thome.
And I'm Sydney Babb. The Auburn University COVID Resource Center has reported 7 new positive COVID cases for the week of March 7th through the 13th. This number is 20 cases less than the previous week's number of 27 cases and maintains consistent with the continuing decline of cases since Auburn students arrived back on campus here at Auburn for the spring semester. These are some of the additional numbers that have been recorded after the lift of the mask mandate on Auburn's campus, with more numbers that will continue to be identified in the coming weeks. In addition, the center has also reported that out of 51 on-campus administered tests, only 1 came back with a positive result. That is a 1.9% positivity rate, which is a slight increase from the previous week's 1.1% as well. The East Alabama Medical Center has seen a greater number of hospitalizations and ventilator usage since the start of the new semester that has steadily declined throughout these past few months. The center itself continues to reside in visitation level red, according to its last official report on January 26th. You can stay updated on Auburn's COVID situation by visiting the Auburn COVID Resource Center website.
Here's some good news about COVID-19. Community levels are projected and deaths are down. Now officials are talking about the transition out of the emergency phase. Amy Keeley reports that means relaxing restrictions and preparing for the future.
We want to make sure that people have an opportunity to relax their mitigation strategies when things are good, as they are right now.
Health officials are starting to talk about transitioning out of the COVID-19 emergency phase. Here are the numbers behind that good news. Less than 1% of people in the U.S. now live in areas with high community levels. So the CDC recommends few people need to wear a mask in indoor public spaces.
It's not too soon if you observe the caveat that's associated with that. And the caveat is we need to be flexible.
More good news is the CDC forecasts a decline in weekly COVID deaths.
Our hospitals are not full, but then that they should put that mask in a drawer.
A resurgence could come from an Omicron subvariant that spreads quickly.
I would not be surprised given the fact that we've begun to open up and we have an increase in the BA2 variant that we'll be seeing an increase in cases.
Experts say it might not be as deadly as other variants, especially if people are boosted. Moderna says it's asking the FDA to authorize another booster for emergency use for adults. Pfizer wants another one for those 65 and older. The final bit of good news is hope for the future.
This may very well become a seasonal disease where the amplitude of disease, the amount of disease that's out there gets less and less over time.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Eagle Eye's Lily Grace Thome takes a look at the upcoming freshman forum event, Bff Bingo Night. Let's take a look.
Hey y'all, my name is Patrick Sullivan. I'm a member of Freshman Forum, and this year for our annual SPU project, we have Bff Bingo Night here at the Edge. It's going to be on March 24th from 5 to 8 p.m. We get to have the freshman class come to the second floor of the Edge this year, and we get to have a great bingo night. You get to win lots of prizes and also get to give feedback to SGA on how
Speaking of SGA, now we turn to Coleman Turnipseed, the Auburn's SGA Vice President, for our weekly update on the Student Senate. Let's take a look.
Hi everyone, my name is Coleman Turnipseed. I'm the Vice President of the Student Government Association, and I'm here today to do a weekly recap of what's happening in the Student Senate. This past week, we had 13 confirmation bills going through, including our new senator from the College of Forestry and Wildlife Sciences, Senator Nico Martinez. Next week, we will confirm 2 more of our senators from the College of Nursing and the College of Construction, Architecture, and Design. Those senators are Senator Isabel Lubin and Senator Avery Rains. We're still waiting on 2 more confirmations, and after that, our student senate will be full. Last night, the Student Government Association SGA exec selected our assistant vice presidents, and those will be announced soon. If you ever are wanting to attend a student senate meeting, they're held in the Student Center 2222 and 2223 at 7:30 p.m. Please come by. All students.
Are you searching for activities that will get your mind off the stress of all things March Madness? Well, look no further. Involvement Ambassador Travis Harrison is here to give you the scoop on all the activities and events you can get involved on campus this week.
Hey everyone, my name is Travis Harrison. I hope everyone's having a great week. We're in the home stretch of the school year, but there's still plenty going on. Monday, the Career Center is hosting a virtual career fair that is open to all majors. This is a great opportunity for all students, so make sure to check it out. The fair will be from 2 to 6 p.m. and you can visit aub.ie/AUCF for more information. On Wednesday, the Harrison School of Pharmacy is having a free health fair open for all students. The health fair will include free blood pressure, free blood sugar, and mental health screenings. Stop by Student Center Room 2222 from 11 to 4 p.m. Also on Wednesday, Active Minds is having a benefit night at Fruitables, starting at 4 p.m. and ending at 7. Active Minds raises awareness about and teaches about mental health on campus. They're a great organization, so make sure to go out there and support them. Thursday night, UPC is having another Tiger Night Spring Fair, and it's a great opportunity to hang out with other students and just have a good time. As always, there are dozens of other events happening on AU Involved, so make sure to go and check them out.
When we return from this short break, find out what kind of magic is brewing in a new Auburn Public Libraries exhibit. Then we'll take a look at which Auburn traffic lights are getting an upgrade. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
On Wednesday, March 23rd, starting at 11 a.m. and lasting until 2 p.m., the Auburn University Campus Food Pantry will be accepting donations at the Melton Student Center Green Space. This donation drive will take place as a part of Auburn University's College of Agriculture's Beyond the Farm event. Accepted donations include items such as tuna and breakfast-type foods. For more information about this upcoming drive, visit ocm.auburn.edu.
Auburn University Libraries is celebrating the 25th anniversary of the publication of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in a way that you won't want to miss. Located on the first floor of RBD Library, an exhibit has been constructed to celebrate the 1997 publication in a spectacular manner, including a collection that features Lego Harry Potter sets and novelties built by Professor Barbara Bishop, as well as a dozen books that only represent a portion of the more than 80 languages and dialects the book has been published in throughout the world. The first Harry Potter book marked the beginning of one of the most commercially successful book series in publishing history, with Rowling's books spawning equally successful movie releases, toy, and merchandise. The Harry Potter 25th Anniversary exhibit will continue to be on display in RBD Library until August 2022.
The Auburn University College of Education is teaming up with the College of Science and Mathematics Department of Mathematics and Statistics, as well as other state institutions to address the shortage of math teachers in Alabama. Using $3.2 million in funding provided by the National Science Foundation's Noyance Scholarship Program, Auburn plans to develop a groundbreaking project titled Developing, Recruiting, and Empowering Alabama's Mathematics Teachers, or DREAM Math. The program itself will offer a Master of Education in Secondary Mathematics that will later lead to teacher certification and 4 years of support as teachers embark on their careers at high-need schools. Auburn is partnering with Tuskegee University, Alabama State University, the Alabama Math, Science, and Technology Initiative, and the East Alabama Regional In-Service Center and area school districts. Auburn and its partners are looking for 12 participants in the 2022 cohort, as well as 14 for the 2023 cohort. Anyone interested in participating in the program may apply through dream-math.org.
Beginning last Friday, March 18th, a new traffic signal at the intersection of East Glen Avenue and Skyway Drive began operating in flash mode in an attempt to allow motorists to become familiar with the new signal. With plans for the traffic signal to go into full operation by Monday, April 4th, drivers are encouraged to be cautious in the area as the community adjusts to the signal. When we come back, we'll take a look nationally at the situation in Ukraine, as well as the historic Supreme Court hearings that are that started today. You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelinsky is calling on Russia to begin peace talks without delay. As the fighting intensifies, destruction widens, and more people flee, Meredith Wood has the latest, including new insights from U.S. officials about Russia's invasion.
Calling for urgent peace talks. Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelinsky demanding an immediate meeting with Russia and warning against further escalation.
Time to talk. Time to restore territorial integrity and justice for Ukraine, or else.
This comes as Russia launched new missile strikes at a military barracks, reportedly killing dozens of Ukrainian troops. Local officials say rescue operations are still underway as several Ukrainian cities remain under attack.
It is a very difficult time for Ukraine, for my city.
Meanwhile, the frantic search continues at a theater being used as a bomb shelter in the city of Mariupol, destroyed by Russian bombs earlier this week. A new satellite image showed the extent of the damage. President Zelinsky says 130 people have been pulled from the rubble, but hundreds more may still be trapped. On Saturday, during a trip to Bulgaria, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Russia used, quote, brutal, savage techniques to target civilians.
Putin's war of choice against Ukraine has been tragic. Russia's invasion has taken a terrible toll on Ukrainian lives.
The UN's refugee agency says more than 3.3 million people have fled their country since Russia's invasion. And as the casualties rise, one doctor says his maternity hospital has been turned into a hospital for the wounded.
I feel the smell of the death and the smell of the blood.
I'm Meredith Wood reporting.
A historic round of hearings began on Capitol Hill today. The Senate Judiciary Committee considering the nomination of Ketanji Brown Jackson to serve as the first Black woman in the U.S. Supreme Court. Karen Kafa has a preview of what's to come from Washington.
This first of 4 days scheduled for the nomination hearing of Ketanji Brown Jackson is all about the opening statements, and each of the more than 20 members of the Senate Judiciary Committee will deliver one. That's in addition to Jackson herself. So far from what we have heard from the most senior members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, who get to go first, pretty much falls in line with what we expected from each party, with Democrats praising Jackson for her long legal resume and also how she would make the Supreme Court look just a little bit more like America and the importance of diversity in the judiciary. As for Republicans, we heard, for example, from the top Republican on the committee, Chuck Grassley, who said he wants to hear more about her time on the U.S. Sentencing Commission and also more about her judicial philosophy and how she approaches the law. As I mentioned, we will get an opportunity to hear from Judge Jackson in her own words. She'll receive two introductions before that statement. One from Judge Thomas Griffith, who is a former judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit, who just retired in 2020. And also we'll hear from Lisa Fairfax, who was a former classmate of Jackson's at Harvard Law and now serves as a professor of law at the University of Pennsylvania. Tomorrow, the questioning will get underway. And again, each of the senators will have an opportunity to question Jackson over the course of the next 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. These will be long days. The Senate Democrats hope to wrap up the entire process, a committee vote and a full floor vote by the beginning of April before they break for the Easter recess. If confirmed, Jackson will take her seat after the end of the current Supreme Court term when Justice Stephen Breyer officially retires. On Capitol Hill, I'm Karen Kafa.
As California's drought intensifies due to a lack of rain, the state reduces water allocation and special program for municipalities by 10%.
Water's a precious resource, and we're just going to have to probably be asked to keep an eye on our use.
Mega drought, one way to describe water conditions in the West. Experts like Alan Haynes, a hydrologist in charge for NOAA, explain what's missing.
We've had so many dry years that the reservoirs have been drawn down. And because there hasn't been enough precipitation in the winter.
Shasta Lake, he said, is at about 50% of average. Lake Oroville is about 68% of average. And that means
to have that much water not in the reservoir, that's problematic.
As California enters a third dry year, the Department of Water Resources announced it will preserve as much of Lake Oroville's storage as possible. It's the state water project's largest reservoir.
We all just have to realize that water is a limited resource and it's been under a lot of stress, and we're at very low levels. And so we're likely to see further, restrictions and being asked to use less water. That's just going to continue.
Last Thursday, families at a New Mexico university began mourning the loss of 6 college golfers and their coach who died on their way back from a tournament. Amy Kiley reports on the fiery collision that also killed the driver of a second vehicle and a young teen.
You have 2 vehicles on fire, people trapped inside. Responding units, it is going to be a head-on collision. Both vehicles fully engulfed at this time.
These college athletes are dead after a traffic collision in western Texas this week. They're from multiple states and countries. The youngest were 18 years old. This memorial is at their school, the University of the Southwest in New Mexico. The students were golfers. They died doing what young athletes across the country do every day, traveling for a competition.
They were loading up the bus, and I told Tyler, I'll see you bright and early in the morning. He said, yes, sir, and waved and hopped in the van. So it's just devastating.
He's referring to Coach Tyler James, who also died in the accident. 2 surviving players were in critical condition Wednesday. Officials say the driver and a 13-year-old passenger of the pickup truck that collided with the van also died.
It's a very tragic scene. It's very, very tragic.
That scene is now clear, but the heartbreak continues.
When you're on a team, it sort of becomes like a second family. And regardless of how far removed you are from that team, that's still family.
There's a lot of camaraderie in golf because you spend 5 hours walking around the golf course and talking to the kid. It's very heartrending, to know that the guy you spent 10 hours with yesterday is no longer around.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
When we return, we'll take a look at how Auburn did this past weekend in sports with our Auburn Sports Update from Vince Wolfram. Stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Vince Wolfram, and here's your Auburn Sports Update. Auburn basketball traveled to Greenville, South Carolina this past weekend to compete in the NCAA tournament first and second round. The 2-seeded Tigers' first opponent was the 15-seeded Jacksonville State Gamecocks. The game was back and forth at first, but Auburn pulled away to have a 12-point lead by halftime and kept the Gamecocks at a distance throughout the second half to win 80-61. In the Tigers' second game, they faced the Hurricanes of Miami, who held the 10 seed and just defeated Southern California. Auburn was fighting from behind the entire game, but went into halftime only down by 1. In the second half, Auburn's poor shooting caught up with them, and the Tigers fell 61-79 to mark the end of their historic season. Auburn baseball welcomed the #1 team in the country, Ole Miss, this weekend and lost their series 2-1. Each game was decided by 7 or more runs. For more Auburn sports, check out Sports Night in Auburn on Wednesday nights or on our Twitter page at EagleEyeTV_sports. When we come back, we'll take a look at what National Day is being celebrated, as well as our Pet of the Week. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
It's World Down Syndrome Day. Every year, the CDC says about 6,000 babies in the U.S. are born with the condition, which is the result of having an extra chromosome. Babies with Down syndrome can also have heart defects at birth. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gather has one family's fight to save their baby after being told he may not make it.
Before Weston Hendershot was born, his parents were blindsided. First told their baby boy would have Down syndrome, then learned he also had a heart defect.
You have all of the worst thoughts going through your head, will our little guy make it? Will we see him be born?
The parents say doctors weren't able to answer those questions either, but in October 2020, Weston was born at Cleveland Clinic Children's. Still, his heart was struggling.
A heart condition is, life or death. So the more you can get knowledge for yourself, the better.
Weston's doctors did an echocardiogram, which is a graphic outline of the heart's movement.
to demonstrate signs of pulmonary hypertension or elevated pressures on the right side of the heart.
Weston's doctor says that's common for babies born with Down syndrome. In fact, he says about 40 to 50% of babies with the condition will have heart problems. 6 months after he was born, Weston went through surgery at Cleveland Clinic to repair his heart.
He is thriving at 17 months. He has 100% heart repair.
Weston's parents didn't know heart problems were common in babies with Down syndrome. That's why his mom says getting an echocardiogram is key and let them know of the problem. While doctors continue to follow Weston's progress, his future is bright.
Bye-bye.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
With another St. Patrick's Day in the record books, a lucky Midwesterner hopes to set a record after an amazing streak of four-leaf clover discoveries. Jeremy Roth has more.
Just in time for St. Patty's Day, this Wisconsin woman left us green with envy by showing off her amazing and potentially record-setting collection of four-leaf clovers. Bettina Reich says she's been finding the rare leafy plants since she was 10.
Or I should say they find me, if anything.
She already had an impressive clover collection going, but when the pandemic hit, she found extra time for her hobby, turning COVID times into Clovid times with daily discoveries of the hard-to-find flora that just kept on going.
10 went to 20, then 50, and 112.
With the luck of the Irish seemingly on her side, Reich ended up finding a four-leaf clover every day for 258 days straight. She's now trying her luck by applying for a Guinness World Record. Some drivers in Chicago got lucky when an area businessman donated $200,000 in free gasoline. Dr. Willie Wilson said he wanted to do what he could to help his town during these times of unprecedented pain at the pump. Cars lined up at participating stations getting free $50 fill-ups until the money was spent. Finally, wildlife officials want the public's help in naming the newest bald eagle chick born in California's Big Bear Valley. Along with a donation, you can submit your ideas online. The winner will be chosen by a local third-grade class. Okay, here are my ideas. Chick Astley, Kanye Nest, The Godfeather, Bird Reynolds, Jimmy Talon, Edgar Allan Crow. Okay, that's probably enough for now. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Oh, I just can't wait to be king. Through our new Pet of the Week, Simba may not look as fierce as a lion. He sure likes to pretend he is. His young age and curiosity fuel his love of adventure. He can't wait to come home with you to show you how great of a friend he can be. Simba is 1 year old, vaccinated, microchipped, fixed, and FIV/FELV negative. Apply for him online today. We're out of time, but for more Auburn news, head over to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and check out our social media pages. I'm Lily Grace Thome.
And I'm Sydney Babb. Thank you for watching, and War Eagle.